Burton Cummings has been a force in the music business for more than 40 years. Today, his voice remains as golden as it ever was.
You read it in the Bible, you saw it in a storybook. Remember from the kindergarten, you had it in your first crush.
And after a hiatus of almost 2 decades, he's out with a new album.
Down low now. I knew someday the music might get evil.
Above the Ground is a 19-track epic as the legendary rocker reflects on 6 decades of life. And what a life it is.
Star baby, flashing little shiny little two-time mama singing, Star baby.
Burton Lorne Cummings was born on New Year's Eve, 1947, an only child raised by his mother Rhoda and her parents in Winnipeg's working-class North End.
He was such a wonderful little kid. He really was. Burton was a joy. He was fun to be around. He really was. He had a great personality, and he didn't give me any problems at all. I just adored him.
Cummings' mother used to force him to play the piano, but once he discovered rock and roll, Burton was glued to the keyboard.
One day when I was about 10 years old, or 11 years old, 10 or 11 years, something like that, I discovered the 4 staple chords of rock and roll, which basically... Once you know those 4 chords, you can play a lot of stuff, boy.
Okay, cats, here it is, cats.
So suddenly, it went from being teased for being different, carrying music books to school and having to leave early one day a week to go to my piano lesson. Ha ha, look at the sissy. All of a sudden, all that stopped, and they were saying, hey man, play that again, or play this, or play that, you know, and it gave me status that not everyone had.
Gal with the red ball, she does the boogie-woogie all night long.
It was the 1950s. Winnipeg's post-war generation was growing up, happy, innocent, and crazy for rock and roll. In high school, Burton was a straight-A student until he joined the Deverons. He was 15. In the 11th grade, his marks now suffering, the former honor student was told by the principal that he couldn't sing in the school's production of Pirates of Penzance. So Burton quit to study rock and roll full-time. It was probably the best thing he could have ever done. In 1966, the Guess Who came calling.
I kept hearing about this new band with this punk rebel kid who always got up and danced on the piano. And, you know, we were wearing Beatle boots with the big taps. It would scratch the top of the piano. He had wrecked a piano at this high school. On that high school, he was banned from the Winnipeg Arena or the auditorium because he had played a show there and got up on a big rented grand piano and danced and scratched the top. And I said, maybe this is what we need. I'll never forget his smart aleck punk comment. He said, I'm sorry, but the Beatles called me last night. He got up and walked out.
We're the Guess Who.
The Guess Who crafted their sound in the community clubs of Winnipeg and on early Canadian television.
Now, let's go! Yes, for Winnipeg, let's go with Canada's #1 hitmakers, the Guess Who!
Then, in 1968, it happened.
These eyes.
After a year of intensive songwriting, the Guess Who released the album Wheatfield Soul. These Eyes was their first single with Cummings on vocals. It went top 10 in Canada and the U.S.
I didn't realize you were lying. She's come undone.
The hits came so easily to the Guess Who, it seemed they would never stop. In May of 1970, the band scored its greatest success.
American Woman said, get away.
American Woman soared to #1 on the Bible of the music industry, Billboard's Hot 100. It was a first for a Canadian band, and they would hold the top spot for 3 weeks.
The 4 of us, Peterson, Cale, Backman, and myself, got in a circle, hugging each other, and bounced on a bed in the hotel room until the spring broke under the mattress. We couldn't believe it. For that 2 minutes that we bounced and hugged and yelled and screamed, it was probably 2 of the best minutes of my life.
Burton is probably one of the most charismatic performers I've seen in 30 years of working in pop music. To see him live on stage was an unforgettable experience. He could command an audience. He knew the right thing to do. He was electrifying. What you brought with Burton Cummings in the group was a bona fide teen idol, a babe magnet, you know.
The four lads from Winnipeg sold more records than the Beatles that year. And wherever they went, the flag went with them. As prolific and profitable as it was, the Cummings-Bachman partnership wouldn't last. The Guess Who pumped out hit after hit until 1975.
Burton Cummings and the Guess Who wrote a song called Clap for the Wolfman. I tell you, it just warmed the cockles of the old Wolfman heart. And it's gonna be on their new album too, man. Clap for the Wolfman. He gonna reach your record high. That's it.
In 1976, Cummings, the babe magnet, went solo, striking gold with his first singles.
Stand tall. Revving up my engine like 747, I'm shining, hanging on the beat. I'm scared, Lordy Lord, I'm shaking, I'm petrified.
By the end of the decade, his career had been reborn. Dream of a Child was the first album by any artist to go triple platinum in Canada. Juno and Genie Awards affirmed Cummings' status as Canada's most successful recording artist.
What did you say?
He even made his acting debut, playing, what else? A rock star in the movie Melanie.
You want a peek?
But the Guess Who didn't completely leave its glory days behind. The band reunited for concerts to aid Red River flood victims, close the Pan Am Games in Winnipeg, and play at SARS-Stock in Toronto.
It's an honor to introduce the band that makes me think Canada, the Guess Who! Burton also shared the stage with Randy Bachman to revisit the hits as Bachman Cummings. Burton still owns a house in his hometown. He also has a theater and community club named after him. Even a local hockey team, the Wheatfield Soldiers, use his iconic mustached image on their team sweaters. In June, the high school dropout went home again, where he was granted an honorary diploma, getting credit for all his songwriting.
My preparation for the world and what was about to happen to me all occurred at St. John's. I had the best times of my life. I just never finished.
In September, he was named an Officer of the Order of Canada, the country's highest civilian honor. And a new poll named American Woman the greatest Canadian single of all time.
Mama, let me be what I'm gonna do.
As a boy, Cummings dreamed that one day he would cut a record and hear his own voice on the radio. Reality has been so much sweeter than the dream.